times. And Jeff, you obviously got to usher in Sawyer Robertson to this Baylor program, and he's been a huge part of the Bears' turnaround this year. Guys had to kind of throw him to the wolves a little bit early with that,
and then you don't have to mess with that for the moment. At least I don't think. Test. 1 2 1 2 1 2. John is right in the middle, Justin, so we'll have room for me there. You can see the one chair, and for Seth or Bryce or our guest, which I've not seen Seth or Bryce, and I'm like, do I need to text them? Hello. Yes, John is close. John, can I have you pop the headset on real quick? Thank you.
Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello 1 2. Hello 1 2. Appreciate it.
Let's see, John. I think that we talk again. I'll make sure I've got you in 3. Yep.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
All righty. Oh, here comes Seth jogging in. That's good. Yep. Oh, go a little louder. Okay, Justin, we can do that. Feeding a little louder. Hey, Seth. What is up? Justin, are we good? Turn it up a little bit. We'll see how that is. Hello. Test. 1 2 1 2. Actually, that doesn't. Let me turn this up a little bit. That does look soft. There we are. I'm going to turn the return audio back up a little bit.
Meeting. Tell everybody hello there. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you this weekend. Thanks for doing this.
You got it, man. See you.
There he goes, Jeff Grimes.
This is ESPN Central Texas. Scott Drew and the Bears take on the Yukon Huskies Wednesday in a matchup of programs.
Justin, let me know if that's good. I'm going to hop up here. I see your text.
In college basketball. 5 p.m. for the countdown to tip-off. 5:30 tip-off Wednesday with Baylor Athletics Hall of Famer Pat Nunley and the voice of the Bears, John Morris. It's Baylor in Connecticut.
1 2 1 2
this
1
Wednesday
2.
from Stores, Connecticut.
Someone's firing up a grill
on
that's
the
smelling
Baylor
really good down
Sports
here.
Media Network.
The moment you see those flashing lights, you think this can't happen to me. I lost
have an announcer
a
change
girlfriend.
that
I
to
lost
the
a job
Schinkel
because I was
Award
in jail.
winner, John Morris.
Learn about the real costs of drunk driving at facesofdrunkdriving.com.
Okay.
Sponsored by TxDOT.
I know he won't be
Okay,
a
so
part
what's the
of
most
it, but
important part about your house? Nope, it's not that bar
1 2
or
1 2
even the
1
man
2.
cave. Think
Okay,
about it.
good.
The most important thing
Good.
is
Just
your
a little
roof.
lower, right?
It has to
Don't you
withstand
understand
all
the
that Mother
Justin?
Nature can throw your way.
Hello.
So it makes sense to
Check,
have the
check.
best. McAdams & Sons Roofing is your first choice
All right,
when it
I'm
comes
out.
to protecting your
Test.
valuable
Turn it
assets.
down a little bit here,
Experienced
Justin.
professionals
Not quite
use
getting
only
red
the
as
best
much.
materials.
Amen.
So for new construction, re-roofs, repairs, or remodels, for composition and metal roofs, think McAdams & Sons Roofing first. And now McAdams & Sons Roofing
1 2
are
1 2.
installing
I'm gonna
seamless
hop up
gutters.
here.
They're insured
John.
and an A+ rating on the BBB. McAdams & Sons Roofing will come out, take a look at your roof, and handle all the insurance process for you. Don't let any fly-by-night company look at your roof. Let a real professional you trust do the work for you. Put McAdams & Sons over 40 years of experience to go to work for you all over Central Texas. Check them out online at McAdamsRoofing.com or give them a call at 254-799-2949 because you don't want a kid with your house's lid.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? Being a member of the Air Force Reserve. It's doing a job that makes a difference. Serving your community and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. And the experience, education, and other benefits you receive can enhance your civilian career and your life. What's your calling? Air Force Reserve. To find out about local job opportunities with the Air Force Reserve at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland or Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Fort Worth, call 800-257-1212 or go to afreserve.com. Sponsored by the Air Force Reserve and aired in cooperation with the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
ESPN Central Texas is your flagship station for Baylor Athletics.
When you have a litter-free state of mind, you get the answer to all of life's great questions right in your head. Like,
am I a jerk because I let trash fly out of the car window? Yes. If I throw garbage out of my truck and no one sees it, really? Can I be fined up to $2,000 for littering on? Yes, come on. And should I dispose of litter properly because I'm a proud Texan? That's exactly what
Seth,
Don't
you
Mess
can hop
with
on
Texas
up here and we'll get a
means.
little
get your litter-free
real
state
quick
of mind
test on
today,
you.
and don't mess with Texas. A message from TxDOT.
Hey everybody, it's
Last spot, guys. Last spot.
want to know how to make your selfies even
Seth,
better?
how you feeling today?
Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets.
How's
when
that? Is
the
that a little
atmosphere
better?
scatters blue and violet wavelengths.
Okay, good.
Talk, Seth.
Golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours.
I'm here.
Click
Talking.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Talking some
Levels
football.
are good.
for more inspiration.
Alrighty.
Oh, is that what we're talking?
Maybe a little turkey.
Yeah.
Okay. Something like that.
From the Allen Samuels
Ham,
Dodge
whatever
Chrysler
you're-
Jeep
whatever
Ram
floats your boat.
Studios. This is KRZI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DV Temple, ESPN Central Texas.
Thank
All right,
you to
guys,
our
have a great
audience.
call.
Audience of two.
Big audience.
Brent and Cherry.
This is
It's our audience.
the Baylor
Thank you, Tess.
Alumni Network Tailgate Show.
We're going to name everybody in the audience by name.
Doug over there hanging out.
Doug, Stoddard,
Brought to
Alley.
you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today.
Stayed up too late.
Baylor Scott and White
I wasn't
Health,
watching it. I just
the
heard about it
official
this morning.
hospital and healthcare system of Baylor
didn't wake you up
Athletics.
yesterday, did I?
Your
No, I'm
healthcare,
still awake. Okay.
your way. HEB, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics, proudly serving Texans since 1905. TFNB, your
Go
bank
grab some
for
food.
life, the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Premier ER and Urgent Care. Feel better now. Nissan, innovation that excites. Get ready for all the pregame action starting right now.
It is Senior Day at McLean Stadium, the conclusion of the 2024 regular season, and it features two of the hottest teams in the Big 12. Your Baylor Bears, winners of 5 straight, the Kansas Jayhawks, winners of 3 straight. A lot on the line for both teams today as they play football on a beautiful day, a little chilly, but a beautiful day along the Brazos River. Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. Alongside Baylor legend Seth Russell and the voice of the Bears, John Morris. I'm Derek Smith. Glad to have you with us here. And, gentlemen, belated happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays to you both. Boy, a football weather kind of day to close out this regular season.
It is, isn't it? So 35 this morning. For those of you listening to us outside the area, it is. It's up to 42. It's going to get in the low 60s maybe today. This is great, isn't it, Seth?
That's perfect. Perfect football weather.
It really is.
And Kansas coming in, I think this is a warm day for them. So,
Yeah, true. Spring day.
Yeah, but no, it's we've been kind of waiting for this type of weather. I mean, it's kind of been really hot. Really didn't get cold till this week in Texas, which I guess that's kind of normal. But no, now we're really finally into football weather in this last game of the season.
Yeah.
So regular season at least.
And a big game. I mean, how about the way both these teams have turned their seasons around and making this a really big game today for both?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of them are extremely hot coming in. Kansas having three wins with ranked opponents, which is pretty incredible to do, especially with kind of their up and down season. And then Baylor, of course, on a 5-game hot streak right now. Got to make it 6, and so both teams are coming in extremely confident, and both teams want to end the season with a win.
Baylor has won 5 straight, first time since 2019, looking to make it 6 straight today. Also would be the first time since that year when the Bears won their first 9 games. Kansas was kind of a disappointment, but they're closing strong. As Seth said, the first team with a losing record to beat 3 straight ranked opponents. It's going to be a good matchup of a Kansas running game against and Baylor's hot offense, probably scoring some points even on a cold day like today. Kansas playing for bowl eligibility. Baylor playing for a better bowl, maybe more, depending on how things shake out. But I don't know how you guys feel. I like that we're playing early today on a day that we're hoping for a little chaos in the Big 12. Let's play focus just on yourself, get the win here, and then you can sit back and see how everything else plays out.
I think that's a really good point because Baylor is now one of 6 teams. It changed after Colorado won yesterday. It was 9, but now one of 6 teams that still has a chance to make it to Arlington and the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game. And I'm sure that's in the back of their mind, but the focus has got to be, you got to win this game, you know. So like you said, Derek, play early. You're not going to be distracted by other results or anything like that. Just focus on your game and then see how things play out the rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can control what you can control.
Yeah.
All the other controllables are just factors that are things you can't think about. And you wake up, prep yesterday, at the hotel, just knowing, hey, we got to get up, start fast, because Kansas is going to want to do the same thing. Like Derek said earlier, they're fighting for a bowl now, right? So they have a lot more, from a player standpoint, I think they have a lot more kind of riding because they want to extend their season, especially those seniors coming out. They got a lot more things to fight for, and at least on the Kansas side, just as equals, right? And so, but obviously both teams are. Wanting to walk out of here with a W.
And it strikes me that what you said, focusing on what's ahead of you, kind of that 1-0 mentality and blocking out everything else. Boy, the team's done such a great job of that this year. I think it speaks well to the players, certainly to the coaches. 2-4, going on the road, coming out of a bowl game. I mean, it's easy, we've kind of gotten used to it over the last month and a half, but boy, there was a lot that, that they could have let that 2-4 start. A tough loss to Colorado, tough loss to BYU. That could have defined the season. But they determined not to let that happen. I don't think, I think looking at, if you had told us told us back in early October that on this day we'd be playing for an 8th win and have a shot at Arlington, it would have been hard to fathom, and yet that's what they've done.
Yeah. Credit to Coach Aranda and the staff and these players, because I think they never really wavered. I think they knew all along, or felt like they were a good team. Mm-hmm. And those were just some, just a fluke really against Colorado that you lost the game, and a couple of, maybe one thing, maybe a 27-yard field goal, and you went over BYU. So they knew they were right there, but they knew they were better than their record indicated.
Yeah, and even think back, the first couple of conference games are against the, top 2 best teams in the conference right now. And so that's just, I mean, if that doesn't test you, then I don't know what would. But I mean, I think they're really coming out on top. I mean, they're figuring out, okay, we can. This is how we can win ball games. The last couple of years, if it was 1 or 2 score games, we were always getting kind of the short end of the stick on that. And now they're really figuring out, big testament to, I think, to those leaders, right? Because last year nobody really stepped up, right? I mean, that was a big thing, kind of looking from the outside looking in, is who's going to be that leader? Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the group of guys that are going to get this team going? And I mean, I think Sawyer and the backfield, and of course on defense, Randall coaching the linebackers now, and I think that just kind of gives a lot more priority to those guys that are controlling the offense and the defense, right? I mean, the middle linebackers are the quarterbacks of the defense. If they have the head coach there preaching to them, coaching them, and they can kind of relay that to the team, I mean, and you can kind of see what's going on and what's happening and how that's kind of developing and working in their favor.
Well, I have a question for you guys that we can talk about in the next segment here. I was thinking, as we get to this point, the season's not done yet, at least 2 more games, including today. But I'm curious to your thought up to this point to get here. Who's our MVP up to this point? Who's our unsung hero? And who's our most pleasant surprise to this point to have a chance to play? We might be in agreement. I think there's some obvious candidates, but we'll see coming up as we roll on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show, counting you down to Baylor and Kansas on Senior Day. We'll take a timeout ahead on the program. We're going to hear from Josh Ihambe. Now he's Baylor's Director of Mission, Impact, and Enrichment in Athletics, but he played defensive end for Kansas. We are going to later on hear from Brian Haney. John's counterpart is the voice of the Jayhawks. Hear the Kansas standpoint on today's game. That's all on the way on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show, presented by Baylor Alumni, connecting the Baylor family worldwide. Back with more from Touchdown Alley outside McLean Stadium after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Associates. Let Green Eye Associates, Doctors Leanne Green and Avery Platt help you see Waco clearly. Their experienced team enjoys making your eye exam fun, easy, and accurate, providing trustworthy and honest communication about your eyes and eyewear. Visit them on Lake Air Drive or at Green Eye Associates.
Writer's hours.
Services and a wide selection of eyewear made on-site by experts.
Oh, okay.
Official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
A bank in any town USA treats everyone like, well, anyone. At Central National Bank, we provide Central Texans with a different kind of banking. We believe in people over processes, listening over telling, and helping our customers over helping ourselves. Come to Central National Bank and experience the difference. Bank different, Bank Central. Central National Bank, member FDIC, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
This season, beat the holiday rush and shop Astound.com for bigger deals, bigger savings, and bigger internet. For a limited time, get Astound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Plus, add 5G unlimited Astound Mobile free for 12 months. Our award-winning fiber-powered internet can handle it all. Faster streaming, better gaming, and secure online shopping. Lock in bigger savings than ever before at Astound.com. Restrictions apply. See Astound.com for details.
Everything we do for you. Are you looking for a new set of wheels? First Central Credit Union Auto Financing offers fast, complete coverage, competitive rates, and flexible terms make for a win in financing your next vehicle. A quick online application makes it easy to score the money you need at firstcentralcu.com. Everything we do for you.
Membership and loan policy requirements apply. Member NCUA.
You're listening to Baylor Football, on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here in Touchdown Alley, it is Baylor and Kansas today at McLean Stadium, the 2024 regular season finale. And we're getting you ready for it here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. John Morris, Seth Russell, Derek Smith here with you. Aaron Sexton, our producer, a little bit later on, will be joined by Bryce Hager as we talk about getting ready for today's game, but also
where's Bryce? Is it cold? Is it too cold for Bryce? Is that why he's not here?
Maybe his girls didn't get out of bed.
Is that what it is?
I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
They slept in.
We'll see him at some point.
That chill in the air, it's a slow walk from the media line.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you when you're here, Bryce. You look at to get to this point. A lot of people have stepped up and have refused to kind of give in to the noise, if you will, after a 2-4 start. So to think about who helped Baylor get to this point, I want to get you guys' take on 3 awards, if you will, through 11 games. We're still more to go, but the team's MVP at this point, most pleasant surprise, and unsung hero. And maybe there's a little bit of both when you talk about there's some overlap in those, but maybe that just gives us a chance to honor some more guys who have helped us get here. So, Seth, I want to get your standpoint. First off, MVP. When you think about the MVP who helped us get to 7-4, who is that in your mind?
Yeah, I think whenever, at least on the offensive side, when things were struggling, right, who is the guy that held it together, right, that gave him a chance? I mean, you kind of got to give it to Sawyer right on that end, and then I think an equal compliment to kind of help with that system was obviously Bryson, right? I mean, he's kind of been that workhorse, right, that's been the consistent, steady kind of workhorse, within that offense. But then having Sawyer, I mean, just being able to sling the ball around, early on, especially whenever he had a lot of pressure when the offensive line was kind of struggling, trying to figure out their identity of what they wanted to do. Him being able to move, throw on the run. I mean, I was, one of the big question marks going into the season was, we knew his arm strength was there. I just didn't know how much because I really didn't get to see much of it, the last year with the offense we had last year and then going into this year. But seeing him move on the run, putting the ball where he needed to put it, I mean, throwing dimes, down the field. I mean, I would give it to, it's a tight race, but just based off of kind of who controls, not to be biased by any means.
Sure.
But I think we give it to Sawyer, at least leading up to today.
He's thrown for 22 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's run for 4 more. And felt like, he was playing hard, playing well when there was a little bit of a headwind. And then when Bryson came along, gave a little wind in his sails. And we really saw him get a take up.
And so it's not just the quarterback picking the quarterback. I agree.
I agree, too.
I agree with you completely on that, on Sawyer Robertson. And I would go back to the competition between he and Daquan Finn. It was late, but Daquan was named the starter. But Sawyer just kept doing his job. His job at that point was the backup, and then when he got his opportunity, the Utah game when Daquan got hurt, came in, grabbed hold of it, and look what he's done since then. Yeah. So, for his attitude, which is unbelievably good, and then his play on the field, which continues to get better. I mean, last week was a little bit of an off game for him by his standards this year, but I would say he's the MVP.
Yeah, I think, going back to last week, that was the real true first test, I think, from the past 5 games of a good defense, right? And, they threw some challenges at him, but I think the team responded well.
John, unsung hero. Who's the guy that when you were prepping at the beginning of the year, maybe you weren't counting on the numbers and the productivity that you've seen?
Ooh, that's a good question. Thanks for giving us a little time during the break to think about it instead of just dropping it on us. But here's one name. How about Josh Cameron? I really like Josh Cameron, and you could make a case that he is our top receiver on this team of really good receivers. I mean, there's some others that deserve mention. But just what he has done receiving-wise, when you need a big catch, maybe it's a third down, maybe it's a fourth down, Josh Cameron is a guy you can count on for that. And then add to it his punt returns. And he's, I think, the best in the Big 12 and one of the best in the nation there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know we didn't mention that in the break, but, the special team side, obviously the teams are kicking away from him now, which is just a testament to him. And so we need to figure out one of those, hey, if you kick it to this guy, do that like fake reverse deal, like give it to Josh somehow or whatever, but don't make it too complicated. But some of the other guys that we didn't, that reasonable to mention. Of course Trigg is really stepping in really well on those, on those big plays. Hast week that one-handed catch over the middle of the field, just put the dang ball away, but for ball security. But then Ashton Hawkins, Hal Presley, that it's good for us to say there is a defined one, but the last 3 to 4 weeks have really been some other 4 or 5 guys that have really stepped up that could, if they had that production earlier in the season, they could be that guy that was that we put in this place.
Well, Cameron has 8 receiving touchdowns this year. That's almost a third of the receiving touchdowns we have this year. He's guy short. When it's a 3rd and goal, he's a guy you can look to. A long touchdown, turn a short gain into a long run. He can do that as well, and a great year for him. And then the last one is an unsung hero, and I'll offer up the offensive line, particularly once Sidney Fugar got moved to left tackle. Laniel there on the right side of guard. On the left side of guard, they have really stepped up their game. From the start of the year, it seemed like maybe that was a weak area, and now you really only notice them for positive things.
Yeah, I think that's a great. I would second that for the offensive line. With that change, credit Mason Miller, our offensive line coach. When they went into that open date coming off Iowa State, we're 0-3 in conference. And they went back to work, and that's when the change was made. Fugar, moving up to start at left tackle, as you said, and Ryan Lingell at left guard, and the other guys, holding their spots there. But, man, since then, they have just been plowing the way for the running backs, and the offense has shown the productivity from that.
Absolutely. And it's huge testament to Spav and the offensive coordinator and the offensive coaches. That's just – when your offensive line is struggling, that is the hardest thing to figure out because, you can only do it in live reps.
Yeah.
Right? Who's going to figure out? You can try to figure out in practice, but you can only determine who's going to work in the actual game scenario. And so they're making, literal game-time adjustments in the middle of the game trying to figure out. And, but with some of these defenses this year, you can't just throw somebody in a tackle if they haven't played it all year, right? You got to give them at least a week to prep, from a positioning standpoint, blocking schemes, who's going to double up on certain plays, but a huge testament to those guys and just all those guys being coachable, right? You could, offensive line, they don't get enough credit a lot of times. I'll just be honest, right? But they're the guys plowing the way, like you said, and they've done a great job these past 4 to 5 weeks of really establishing their identity as offensive line.
Yeah, first 6 games this year, 135 yards rushing per game. The last 5, 232. So almost 100 yards difference per game. Now, we got to talk about the defense, but we'll save that for once Bryce gets here. We'll talk to Bryce about the defense and some guys who have stepped up a little bit later on. Defense going to be big today, going up against Kansas rushing game, the number 2 rushing attack in the Big 12. More to come here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. We're going to talk about a Jayhawk who's made his way to Baylor. We're going to talk with a Jayhawk who's made his way to Baylor when we come back right after this, counting down to Baylor and Kansas here on the Baylor Sports Media Network. All righty.
When life gets complicated, Butts Law Firm is your one-stop
for a wide range of legal needs. Whether you need estate planning documents such as a will, trust, or guardianship, or the appointment of a receiver to handle personal or business assets management and disposal, consumer protection, family-related legal matters, or various business-related issues, we are your community firm. Whether you're planning for the future, navigating a probate, or managing a business, our experienced team is ready to guide you every step of the way. Trust us to provide the legal support you need. Call today, 406-641-BUTZ. That's 406-641-2889. Or come by the Waxahachie office at 301 South Rogers Street, Suite 202, downtown Waxahachie. Come see the difference having a trusted attorney by your side can make, because at Butts Law Firm, your legal rights are our business.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your Cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
The Black Friday sales event at Allen Samuels in Waco has huge savings. Get a 2024 Wagoneer or Grand Wagoneer Series 3 and get a whopping dealer discount of $15,000 plus 3.9% financing for 72 months. That's right, 3.9 for 72 months. Or drive off in a 24 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland or Limited 4XE and save $12,000 plus see if you qualify for $7,500 federal tax deduction. Hurry, only at Allen Samuels in Waco during the Black Friday sales event. First responders get an extra $500.
Come by. Let's be friends.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Welcome back on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. We are live in Touchdown Alley. We're adjacent to the Baylor Alumni Network tent. Come on by, and folks, a little bit slow in arriving today with the early start, but come on out, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Sun is out, and it's going to warm up, and it's a big game, Baylor and Kansas. Guy I thought of, Derek, for this matchup is with us, part of Baylor Sports Ministry, but he played football at Kansas. Josh Ihambe is here, and this is kind of your game, isn't it, Baylor KU?
Something like that. My heart is divided right now.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're being honest, I mean, Kansas is your school. That's your alma mater. I'm sure you pull for them, but you're working here at Baylor and you're invested into our student athletes here at Baylor now. So how do you balance those two?
That's a great question. I mean, I think I was at Baylor. I was at Kansas a long time ago, right? And none of my coaches are there. No athlete that I know that I played with is there. The only person there is like Stephanie Mihal, who was my academic advisor, who was instrumental in my life. But here I'm at Baylor. I'm invested. I know all the guys. I'm the chaplain for the football team. So I think for the sake of Kansas being my alma mater, it's like I would love to see them in a bowl game, but my heart is with Baylor, and I want Baylor to win.
Josh, you mentioned Stephanie at KU was instrumental in your life. It's a different role, but what have you learned about being instrumental in the lives of these guys here at Baylor that you get to serve?
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot. Like I learned that these athletes, they just want someone that will listen to them, that will journey alongside of them, and will love them. And just learning that it's going to take time, right? I think the difference between when I played is you actually had 4 years, right? Because we didn't have the transfer portal, NIL, things of that nature. Now you probably have 4 to 6 months with these guys, right? So you got to be a lot more intentional now, and I'm learning that, right? That you got to be intentional with these guys, but most important, they just want to be heard and loved, and I think I explain what I do as just being a big brother, and I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned.
That's a good description because I see you perfectly fitting that role, We're around you when you travel with us, and you were with basketball, you travel, and you're just there, and you visit with those guys, and when they want to talk, you're available. Yeah. That's a huge, role, I would think, to be filled for Baylor Athletics.
Right. Yeah. It's a big role, and like you said, it's being available, right? Like you have to be available because those guys want to talk, and a lot of times it's them coming to your room and wanting to talk about whatever it is, the pressure, things going on at home, and just a plethora of things. So.
You got to be ready when they're ready to talk too. It's like having kids of your own, right? You got to be ready to talk when they're ready. You can't force that.
Yeah.
Hey, so in the role you're in mission, impact, and enrichment, job description probably varies. But what's success in your mind in this role?
That's a great question. What is success in my mind, in my position? You know, as a chaplain, I think one of the biggest things that warms my heart is when a student athlete gets married and asks you to officiate their wedding. I really feel like, and I know that's probably something that you can't quantify, right? But that just shows that you have had an impact on their life. If they can call back and be like, hey, can you marry me, or hey, I need some advice about this or that, like that means a lot to me, and that shows me that I'm doing what I need to do. I know that may not be the cookie cutter answer, but for me that's something that really warms my heart and lets me know, like, okay, I think I'm doing my job. When a year or 2 or 3 after they're playing, that they can call me and be like, hey, can you come marry me, or hey, I need some counseling, or I think that shows that some impact is being made.
That's really cool. What about your playing days at Kansas? What do you remember about games against Baylor when you were suiting up for the Jayhawks?
I wasn't as good as Seth Russell.
None of us are, right?
Well, I'll tell you, man, my freshman year, and Seth might know this, I don't know, maybe he doesn't know this. My freshman year, I actually had a concussion in this game. It was, I think, the 14-15 year.
Okay.
It was Bryce Petty, Katie Cannon, what's the other receiver's name? Corey Coleman.
Yeah.
And the first half, they were destroying us, just obliterating us. And then the second half, they come out, Katie Cannon, Corey, Bryce Petty, they all were just in their caps, shoulder pads off, just sitting, and it was the backups in.
Yeah.
And the backups were killing us. It was like, man, there's no hope for us, right? Like, we're just out here, just it's like a David and Goliath, but David doesn't win, right? Like Goliath keeps winning. But that's one of the things that I remember. They were just so good. Like, their receivers, they just always ran goes. And when they got tired, a new fresh set of 4 receivers would come back in, and our corners would be super tired.
Yeah.
And they were just, there was no chance against Baylor back then, and they were a great team.
Who was your head coach?
My head coach that year, I started off with Charlie Weiss, and then Charlie Weiss got fired. And then Clint Bowen was the interim head coach, and then I spent a lot of my time with David Bate.
Nice. Very good. Very good.
Hey, Josh still looks to me like he could give you a couple of pass rushes.
Yes.
I think
Let's just make sure it's for Baylor, not for Kansas. So you be ready. We may need you out there.
Hey, I'm ready, Coach.
Yeah.
I got a bum knee, but hey, I just put a brace on it.
Well, let us say publicly how we say in Baylor Athletics, preparing champions for life. And you do that every day with our student athletes, and you prepare our champions for life after life, eternal life. And we appreciate the way you invest into all of our men and women student athletes here at Baylor. We are fortunate to have you here, okay? And thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
Love you, Josh. Josh Yambe, Director of Mission, Impact, and Enrichment, our guest here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show, presented by Baylor Alumni, bringing the Baylor family together. More coming up from Touchdown Alley after this as we get ready for Baylor and Kansas on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Thanks, Josh. Good stuff.
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor Bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/GoGold. Go Gold and Sick 'em Bears.
Stay in the game with Q-Collar, the world's first and only equipment proven to help protect the brain. It's backed by advanced research, built for the modern athlete, and designed to protect your most important asset, your brain. Q-Collar is a proud partner of the Baylor Bears. When it's on, it's on. Learn more and collar up at Q30.com. That's Q30.com.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grill to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here in Touchdown Alley, getting you ready for Baylor and Kansas today, the 2024 regular season finale, Senior Day. 26 seniors will be honored on the field before the game. Guys who have contributed a lot to Baylor over the last sometimes 1 year, sometimes 4 years, sometimes more than that, as we are here with Baylor legends Seth Russell and Bryce Hager talking Baylor football today. Bryce, pretty big defensive matchup today against a team that has a good running attack. Devin Neal, you're talking about a guy who's a top 20 in the nation in rushing the football, number 5 in the Big 12, and they've really put together a 3-game win streak on the back of their running game. That's Baylor's challenge today.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a great challenge for the front seven especially. I mean, a lot of these games towards this time of the year come in who can control the ball, who has time of possession, and controlling the line of scrimmage and being able to run the ball is huge in these kind of games. And you know this is a big game for Kansas. They win, they get to go to a bowl game. So they got a lot riding on today. And, I mean, coming off 3 big wins, they kind of completely shaking up the Big 12 and who's going to fall into the 2 teams that are going to fall into the Big 12 championship game in Arlington. So, I mean, they continue with these upsets, so hopefully Baylor understands the challenge they have coming in today, get another win for Baylor, get Kansas not bowl eligible, and hopefully we sneak our way into the Big 12 championship game.
Hey, that'd be great. Let's talk about that a minute, because obviously I think, the reality is it's going to be tough for all the things that Baylor needs to happen to actually transpire, but Baylor needs to win, and obviously you play at 11 a.m., so you just get to focus on that. You don't get to have to scoreboard watch. Later on today, Baylor needs Arizona State to lose to Arizona, needs BYU to lose to Houston, and it needs Iowa State to lose to Kansas State. It's kind of like against Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance, right? It's better than we thought it would be. And honestly, if Iowa State had lost last week to Utah, which that was close to happening, then you would really be looking in halfway decent shape. But that's the rundown. But it seems like the coaching staff, you've talked a lot, Bryce. We've talked on the fan forum after the game. Just folks on going want to know. Folks on going want to know. They've done a good job on that. There's been outside noise, but they've been able to manage that. And feels like today, Big 12 championship scenarios, Kansas trying to make a bowl, great rushing attack, your former offensive coordinator, and Jeff Grimes, it's kind of like whatever. Just keep doing what we've been doing.
Yeah, I think just the fact that we're having this conversation, we take care of business today, there's not a chance for us to be in the Big 12 championship game. I mean, that's huge where we were 7 weeks ago. So just having that conversation today, the turnaround this team has had, has been great, and so long as we can keep that momentum going into this game and whatever the postseason might hold.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see, obviously with the wide zone offense, Baylor has ran it the past, 5 years before Spav, or 4 years before Spav got here, so, they're going to know how to play it, right? A lot of these other teams in the Big 12, they play it maybe one or two times a year, right? I mean, Baylor ran it, so they're going to understand Aranda, of course, being there, knowing how to guard against it, and having those schemes in the in the team room with Grimes and that staff. And so, I mean, I think it's going to be a great challenge. I think one thing that they're going to do, I think they're going to shut down the run. That's going to be one thing they're going to focus on, which is going to put a lot of stress, I think, on the back end, right? But I think the corners and our defensive backs have kind of proven to themselves that they can, they can stand on an island, right? If it's past 4 or 5 seconds, that's tough for any defense, which I think they're going to try to heat them up, try to get them on the run, and just get them uncomfortable.
Because that's really been Kansas' MO this year. They run the football well. I mean, their passing game numbers-wise near the bottom of the Big 12, but they have that tendency to lull you to sleep and then hit you with a big play. So, Bryce, for the guys in the backfield, obviously it starts on the defensive line, that defensive front, but for the guys in the backfield, what's key to that situational awareness when Kansas is going to be looking to catch you off guard?
I mean, to Seth's point, I mean, you gotta get to the quarterback. You got to play strong front seven football against a good running team, just so you don't get last days go on the back end. And so if our guys can get to the quarterback and those guys don't have to cover for 4 to 5 seconds, I mean, that's hard on anyone. Any great DB will tell you any longer than 4 seconds that's 50-50 ball right there, no matter what. So, the guys got to be engaged. I mean, I think to Seth's point, they're gonna run the ball, and I think at the end of the day, whoever wins the running game is going to come out with the win.
Talking with Seth Russell and Bryce Hager here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. We're brought to you by Premier ER and Urgent Care. It's the place to go when you're not sure where to go. Open 24/7, just a short walk across campus, no appointment necessary. Just walk in. Visit premier.care to learn more. Fans making their way across the Walter and Sheila Humphrey Bridge. We're here to Touchdown Alley, getting ready for today's game, Senior Day. Trying to get into the stadium a little bit early as we honor 26 seniors walking across the field today. More to come here from Touchdown Alley on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show on Baylor Sports Media Network.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Chris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time! So, Dad, got any red Tacomas? After my good job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there!
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 2nd. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places. During Toyotathon, qualified buyers can get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2025 Tundra. Offer available in select states only.
This season, beat the holiday rush and shop at Astound.com for bigger deals, bigger savings, and bigger internet. For a limited time, get Astound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Plus, add 5G unlimited Astound Mobile free for 12 months. Our award-winning fiber-powered internet can handle it all. Faster streaming, better gaming, and secure online shopping. Lock in bigger savings than ever before at Astound.com. Restrictions apply. See Astound.com for details.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your Cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Alongside Baylor legend Seth Russell and Bryce Hager, Derek Smith here with you in Touchdown Alley. The voice of the Bears, John Morris, is heading up to the radio booth at McLean Stadium. We'll be talking to his counterpart, Brian Haney, here in just a bit. Boy, football weather today, guys. We don't get many of these. They're low 40s right now. I think maybe by the end of the game, hit low 60s. That works.
That's what you want. I mean, it's not so great for quarterbacks because your hands get kind of dry and the ball can dry out a little bit. But I mean, everywhere else, I mean, it's going to be – defense is going to love it because they'll give them some time to cool down on the sideline. Our offensive line is going to love it because, I mean, those guys are – I mean, they're grinding. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're made for. I mean, they got all that extra cushion, so they get a little extra colder weather makes them feel better. So, no, it's beautiful weather out here today. I mean, it's overcast. It's I mean, this is football. This is what you expect to
It's
play.
going to be jacket weather as the game.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a little chilly right now, but when the sun comes out in McLean, it's going to be nice. Bryce, I want to ask you, so we talked a little bit ago, Seth and John and I, we talked about some the team MVP up to this point, unsung hero, and a pleasant surprise, and we came up with the offensive line as the unsung hero. Josh Cameron's the pleasant surprise. Sawyer Robertson is the team MVP to this point, which means we didn't give any love to the defense, unfortunately. I don't know, maybe you get used to that sometimes. We got to make sure we're giving the defense its due credit.
It's a common thing.
Yeah, well, let's rectify that right now and talk about some guys who have stepped up, because it's not just been that Baylor scored 59 points against Texas Tech and the offense has been rolling, but it's been complimentary at times during this 5-game stretch. The defense has stepped up. I want to get some of your insights on who in the defensive unit has been key to that, whether it's a player or a position group. What stands out to you?
I mean, I'm always going to lean on guys who are the quarterbacks of the defense, the linebacking core. The fact that you got guys like Matt Jones and Keaton Thomas, who have got one senior who's being honored today, and then another guy who came in his first year. So I think I really like what Keaton's been doing this year. He's running around, leading the team in tackles. He's like he said in the very beginning of the year, like he's one of those guys who's going to bring energy and have excitement and run around, have fun, and just enjoy the game of football. And I think he's been a good addition to our defense. And then guys up front have been playing well. But I mean, a lot of it, I think, is just trying to find our identity from the beginning of the year to where we are now, adjusting to Aranda calling plays, and there's a lot of change when you get a new play caller. As the season goes on, especially as a play caller of the defense, you kind of understand how the coordinator calls the game throughout a season. So seeing those guys adjust and seeing the game flow of that, I think they've done a great job up to this point. And I mean, now that we know Aranda's going to be around a little bit longer, so those guys are going to just get better and better with that. And Keaton Thomas coming back next year, I think it's going to be he's just going to build off the season he's had this year.
Over 100 tackles, Seth, the first Baylor linebacker to do so since Terrell Bernard. So that's good company. Now, Bryce had some years like that. There's been some good guys who reached that plateau.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I mean, Matt Jones is right
6
behind
away.
him.
Yeah,
he's at 96 or 94, 95 tackles. So I mean, he could easily break that 100 tackle season here right now. I mean today, and so excited for those guys. Yeah, they've really come full circle, and I think that just is a testament to them being coachable. I mean, bringing that edge. Keaton Thomas. We knew Matt Jones had the edge. We just didn't know who that second player was going to be. Him coming in, transferring in, and just really creating, and just really not even having any fall off. He jumped in, took control of that position, and really ran with it.
So those are thoughts on Baylor's secondary attacking. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this year. It's been hard to find the same group game to game. There's been some tough outings. You think of Colorado, certainly one, but it feels like overall they've stepped up, got better, and they've made some plays. They've been forcing more turnovers second half of the year as well.
Yeah, I think first half, they had some questionable plays, but I think that was just them trying to figure out the defense, how they wanted to run it, who was going to step up, right? We got Snacks back this year. I think he stepped up last week, had that big interception late in the game. But then everybody else, I mean, who's going to fit? Who's going to make those tackles? Who's going to do their their 1/11th, right? Who's going to do their job? Who's going to keep from the big plays happening? I think they're really starting to figure that out. Just be coachable, right? Just be in the right position at the right time. Make the plays when your number is being called, and I think they've really done well. And have the coaching staff, I think, has done a great job of putting those players in positions to be successful.
And Bryce, you think like that game last week against Houston, tight game. Every one of those turnovers they forced, that Devin Bobby interception in the end zone, first drive of the game for Houston, turned out to be huge. When you think about what you need to be competitive in the Big 12, are you seeing them develop into that as time goes on?
Yeah, I mean, they're being competitive. Anytime you can get fourth down stops, you can get picks, you can get turnovers, you can get big time plays like that. That's progression. I mean, that's doing the right things, right? I mean, something you can always get better at is penalties have kind of hurt us here and there. And so as long as you can clean up those mistakes, and as long as those aren't too detrimental to the overall game, I think those are things you can clean up and just need to focus a little bit more on. But yeah, those guys have done great, and a lot of times those secondary guys show up a lot in special teams too. So the special teams or defense flows into special teams, and I think that's another group that's done great this season. Yeah. I mean, our punting game's been awesome. Our kickoff, we've had touchdowns on kickoff. We've had turnovers on kickoff. I mean, so we've done great things on the special teams unit. And so with the running battle today, I think special teams is always a factor you got to look into these kind of games.
Well, you got a chance to make it 5 in a row today if you can get the win, or 6 in a row, rather. Already 5 in a row. You can make it 6 in a row if you can close it out with a victory today. By the way, the wind keeps moving. It's early in the morning for a steak, but I'm smelling something. Someone's cooking something good out
Bring
in
it over.
Touchdown Alley. Yeah, they can share that with the radio crew here. But it is starting to fill in. The wind is picking up a little bit, but should be pleasant as time goes on to kickoff about an hour and 15 minutes. From now, there's Seth Russell and Bryce Hager. I'm Derek Smith. Here in just a minute, we're going to hear from Brian Haney, the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks. He'll visit with the voice of the Bears, John Morris. That's all on the way on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrists and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrists of Baylor Athletics.
The Black Friday sales event at Allen Samuels in Waco has huge savings. Get a 2024 Wagoneer or Grand Wagoneer Series 3 and get a whopping dealer discount of $15,000 plus 3.9% financing for 72 months. That's right, 3.9% for 72 months. Or drive off in a 24 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland or Limited 4XE and save $12,000 plus see if you qualify for $7,500 federal tax deduction. Hurry, only at Allen Samuels in Waco during the Black Friday sales event. First responders get an extra $500.
Come by, let's be friends.
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor Bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/Go Gold. Go Gold and sick 'em Bears.
TFNB, your bank for life, is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
And welcome back as we continue on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. We are upstairs now, level 5, looking down on the field. Some of the players, the specialists are out there warming up. And we've got a specialist in the booth with us. It is the voice of the Jayhawks, our good friend Brian Haney. Thanks for coming in. Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to Waco.
Was the cough button on? There we go. Okay, it's that time of year. The cough button should be on in most places. But no, J-Mo, great to be with you, my friend. Always fun to come to Waco. Truly one of our favorite Big 12 road stops, as much for the people as it is the favorite restaurants and sights to see. But great to be out here. Our team actually stayed in Waco last night, which we don't typically do with football. It's only in Temple. So to walk around and see everything that's springing up around here, it's just such a vibrant community, and we glad being here.
A lot going on for sure. How about let's go back 6 weeks, and then you look ahead and you think Baylor, Kansas to end the season. Like at that point, okay, maybe just playing out the string, but now we get here and both teams are red hot.
Yeah, the 2 hottest teams in the Big 12. For us, it was an unbelievably disappointing start in which we had probably the greatest preseason expectations this program's ever had. You got to Vegas in July, and they're picked in the top 4 of the Big 12 preseason poll, and the odds makers and prognosticators in Vegas are saying this is a 9 or a 10-win team. But we opened the year, and we're just self-inflicting ourselves with wounds left and right in late-game scenarios. You saw the numbers of how much we've been outscored in the last 2 minutes of the first half and the second half. I don't even want to say it out loud. It was so bad early in the season. Put it this way. Of our 6 losses, 5 of them we had fourth-quarter leads that we blew and wound up losing by a combined total of 19 points. Less than 4 points per game in those 5 losses, many of which we had leads in the final 5 minutes or the final 2 minutes and seeded comebacks. And so it was just gut-wrenching. And you're like, wow, they're so close. can they still make anything of this season that was supposed to include perhaps a run at the college football playoff, and now we might not even get to a bowl game? Well, you looked at the schedule ahead and you thought, geez, if we didn't beat the teams that were unranked, what are we going to do against these teams that have a number next to their names? But Kansas has found a way, and they're playing their best football when it matters most. It's the first time in school history they've won back-to-back-to-back top 25 games. As you probably saw last week, and this is a weird stat, but the first time in FBS history, a team with a losing record has logged 3 straight top 25 upsets.
How about that?
To do that, you have to have a bad enough record that you can win 3 games and still be below 500, right? And then you also have to have your schedule aligned with 3 straight opportunities against ranked teams. But isn't that wild?
Yes, it is.
And yet that's what we've seen out of Kansas. One of those wins, obviously, was at an undefeated BYU team out there in Provo on a night game where they were so tough. Obviously, last week beating Coach Prime in Colorado was huge on our senior day. The question is, have they emptied their emotional bucket? Have they gone through this gauntlet and had their big senior day for 38 seniors, and is there anything left in the tank? Obviously, they're still playing for bowl eligibility today, so the motivation is there. The dangling carrot to go for that is certainly present, but you kind of wonder, do they have one more left in them? And you guys have been such a great story to watch and see, and obviously in honoring, 26 seniors today, it's going to be a special setting. So one way or another, we're going to be treated to a great football game, and can't wait to share it with you, my friend.
And great weather here in Waco, so glad you're here for it. What can you pinpoint the turnaround to? Anything in particular?
Well, a familiar name, Jeff Grimes. It took a while for him to settle in and the offense that he inherited to adjust to him. And to call it like it is, our quarterback was very inconsistent early in the season. He was shaking off the rust of not having played in 11 months. You might recall Kansas a year ago, they win 9 games, but the bulk of those were with Jason Bean because Jalen Daniels had a back injury early in the season. And then, he went through all kinds of specialists from the West Coast to the East Coast to try to strengthen his body so that he could overcome the big knock on him, which was durability. In his 4 years prior to this year, he had only averaged 6 games played per year. And the big knock on him with NFL scouts is, hey, the best ability is availability. So are you going to be available? You might recall he made his career starting debut here as a 17-year-old. And so this is a guy that was thrown into the fire early in his career, and the Bears battered and bruised him on that day all those years ago in the Les Miles era. But, he's found a way this season to stay on the field. It just took a while to get in the groove. And so once mid-season things started to click with J.D. shaking off the rust, adjusting to Grimes, some of the playmakers that were dropping balls early in the season started making big plays, then it all started falling into place. And obviously Devin Neal has been a specialist in running back in our league, just eclipsed 4,000 career yards, the school record holder. We call him Real Deal Devin Neal, and they're printing T-shirts now and having fun with that. And he's about to play in what could be his final game in a Kansas uniform, a Lawrence, Kansas native, a guy whose name will go in the Ring of Honor. So that's something that we're looking for here today as well. How does he get sent out, and can he extend his career by 1 game by winning today? But I would say after all of that, it was just a mid-season kind of clicking of the offensive new minds and old faces coming together.
Yeah, very good. Final thought, in your mind, what's the key today, for Kansas to do well, or just the matchup between Baylor and KU?
Well, a lot of keys for us, and this one might seem elementary, but this is our earliest start of the season. We've only had one other 11 a.m. kick, and that was on the East Coast at West Virginia, so technically it was noontime out there. Yeah. Now, we are a team that practices in the early morning, so it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. I don't think it'll be, but like I said, they're coming off this emotional high of last week. You just hope there's no hangover there. They need a fast start. They've been able to get off to good starts in each of their last couple of ball games. And even the Iowa State game where they fell down 7-0 early, they rattled off 31 straight after that. So the point is, for this offense to stay hot, keep clicking, I'd like to see Jalen Daniels get in a groove early, get the receivers going early. They leaned so heavily on the running game last week that the offensive downfield passing was kind of an afterthought. And you understand that with Travis Hunter's on the field, obviously, in Colorado. So I think getting J.D. in rhythm and established early will be big. And obviously, you guys have a lot of firepower and so many explosive plays. What is it, 65 plays of 20-plus yards for Baylor? So guarding against that with our secondary that we feel has a couple of NFL guys on there, including Kobe Bryant and Melo Dotson, those will be huge keys as well. But one last thing, Jeff Grimes, so cool. He's going to be able to be on the field.
Isn't that great?
For the season today.
Yeah.
They worked it out to where Garrison's going to be the first name mentioned.
Oh, that's
so then Jeff can sprint up to the top of the booth.
Yeah.
And I asked Lance about this. Lance Leipold, our coach, on our pregame, and I said, "You going to allow him to do this?" And he said, "You know what? At the end of the day, your most important responsibility is that of being a father."
Wow, that's
so
great.
We're going to do what we can to make it happen. And Baylor's helping too. So that's really cool.
Good. I'm glad, so glad that worked
Yeah.
out. You tell Coach Grimes hello for us, and we'll compare notes afterward. But glad you're here.
Yes.
And let's see how things play out
It's
today.
going to be fun, my friend. Always good to see you.
You too. Thanks. Brian Haney, the great voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, comes bearing gifts. Thank you very much. It's great to have Brian and the Jayhawks here in town. We'll take a break. When we come back, more on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. Derek rejoins us after this here on Baylor Sports Media Network.
At HEB, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of HEB jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an HEB Prime 1 burger that you grill to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit HEB, your official game day headquarters, or use the MyHEB app to start prepping for game day right away. Are you a proud Baylor fan? Do you love prizes? The Baylor Sports app allows fans to track their attendance across athletic events and earn points using Baylor Bold Rewards. Baylor Athletics wants to reward the most loyal fans for cheering on the Bears. So register online today at BaylorBoldRewards.com or download the Baylor Sports app straight to your phone. Prizes this year are better than ever, so start earning your points today.
This season, beat the holiday rush and shop at Sound.com for bigger deals, bigger savings, and bigger internet. For a limited time, get Sound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Plus, add 5G unlimited Sound Mobile free for 12 months. Our award-winning fiber-powered internet can handle it all. Faster streaming, better gaming, and secure online shopping. Lock in bigger savings than ever before at Sound.com. Restrictions apply. See Sound.com for details.
First Equal Credit Union invites you to join our team. Game strategy, earn 5% APY on your money. Enjoy ATM fee refunds and the ability to make deposits 24/7 at our ATMs. You can earn interest and have access to your money. Suit up in a free new member t-shirt. Join our team today at FirstEqualCU.com. Everything we do for you. Sick of Bears?
Eligibility qualifications apply. APY annual percentage yield. Member NCUA.
You're listening. Baylor football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Getting ready for Baylor and Kansas today. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. the regular season finale, and we are joined by a versatile performer, a Baylor student athlete, and now an actor, producer, director, and more. Andre Fuller is with us. Hey, Andre, thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Derek.
Andre Fuller, 2000 Baylor graduate, played football, ran track and field, and then moved on into acting. You've been in L.A. for 15 years now, so I get this question a lot. What was it that opened the door for you to go into acting? Is that something you wanted to do as a kid, or when did that come for you?
Yeah, it was just something that was a part of my personality pretty much my entire life. You know, entertaining my family, telling jokes, you know, emulating various actors and personalities. And, of course, being a student athlete, athletics always came first. So all of my primary focus came in the realm of athletics. And then after I graduated, I actually taught school here in Waco for 3 years. After, you know, when I was getting my master's degree in education administration. And at that point, I was, you know, my early mid-20s, and I was like, you know what, I can do anything with my life right now. What do I want to do? And acting was the thing that I had always aspired to do, but I never could do because athletics took precedence over everything else. And then all of a sudden, my schedule came open, so I jumped in at feet first.
Well, you were a wideout at Baylor, played football, ran track. How did athletics prepare you for entertainment?
It actually prepared me immensely because acting is a very competitive field, and being a student athlete, you have to have that competitive drive. Being a wide receiver, especially in the old Big 12, where the national championship came through the Big 12 every year, you had to have that fire and that fight and that desire to win every play that you were in. So I carried that over into the entertainment business, and I kept that same mindset, and it actually propelled me, because a lot of people start, as kid actors and things, and I didn't. I was already in my mid-20s, mid to late 20s by the time I started acting, but that competitive drive, it kind of propelled me ahead of a lot of people.
Talking to Andre Fuller, a former Baylor football player and now actor, also producer and director. You've been in dozens of programs, Prison Break, NCIS. I saw you've done a couple of Christmas movies. Those Christmas movies are wildly popular. You've been in a couple of those places people can keep an eye out for you these days if they're flipping through the channels or looking on streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I'm on all of the major media outlets. I have probably, I think, like 15 or so projects on Amazon Prime. We all have Amazon Prime. I have a couple on Netflix. Tubi has, I think, maybe another 10, 12 projects that I've done. I've been blessed enough to do about 40 projects over the last, 15 years. TV shows and movies as well. So all of those are still up on various streaming platforms.
Is Legacy your most recent work, or what's ahead there?
Yeah, Legacy is the most recent. That one can be seen on BET Plus. And we're doing more episodes for Legacy, but my main focus has been for the last couple of years, really since COVID ended, more so on my writing, my producing, and my directing. I have a film that I directed that's going to be debuting at the Sundance Film Festival, which is huge in our industry. It's almost like a Super Bowl of debuting films. My movie's going to be debuting at Sundance as well, and I'm in pre-production for another movie. That's actually it's going to be my biggest budgeted film. It's based off a historical event. I can't say too much about it right now, but I guarantee you next year around this time when you interview me again, you'll be like, oh, you got, a NAACP award nomination, you got an Oscar nomination, we're speaking that into existence.
That's good. That looks good. We'll look for that. So you mentioned Sundance. What's that project?
It's a movie that I wrote and directed called Till Death Do You. It's a suspense thriller horror type movie, and it stars Michael Beach, who was in Aquaman and Wait to Exhale in many Tulsa King, many projects. He's a veteran. Elise Neal is in it. T-Boss from TLC is in it. Of course, myself and a lot of other actors that you guys will recognize.
We'll keep an eye out for that for sure. Well, Andre, before I let you go, I got to say, you're in L.A. I know you keep pretty busy. What's it mean to get to come back to Baylor? Are you able to come back here very often?
Yeah, I actually come back. I try to get back at least once a year. When we were in our prime, we were in 11, 12 games a year, 10 games, average. I was back more often. My schedule permitted it. But now that I'm a little bit more busy, I at least try to get back once a year. I was here last year for a game, the Texas game last year. And I was just at the University of Houston game last week, and I'm here for the Kansas game, just trying to build on this momentum going into bowl season, and we got to send these Kansas Jayhawks home with no bowl.
That sounds good. Well, Andre, I appreciate you joining us. Keep up the great work. Your Baylor family's proud of you. Look forward to seeing you on the screen and as you write and direct as well. Produce.
Absolutely. That means a lot to me that you guys are you have my back.
Absolutely. Andre Fuller joining us here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. When we come back, it's countdown to kickoff. We're going to throw it up to the booth with the voice of the Bears, John Morris, as we get ready for Baylor and Kansas today on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrists and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrists of Baylor Athletics.
TFNB, your bank for life, is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back with 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app. Banking is now easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Score big savings during truck season at Jim Turner Chevrolet in McGregor. Right now, get discounts on our lineup of powerful Chevy Silverados. Save on SUVs too, like a reliable Chevy Suburban or the stylish Tahoe and the Chevy Blazer EV. Hurry! The first 100 to take a test drive this month will receive a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper and a chance to win